Hey guys, this video we are going to talk about, in particular, push-ups, but this really applies to all movements that you're going to practice, whether it's a squat or a bicep curl for that matter. And what the key thing is we're going over is full range of motion and how important it is. So a really common problem I see happening when people are doing push-ups is they want to do the full push-up, but they only can go down this far with each push-up. Or they'll deviate in another way to doing a push-up with improper form, or again at the back and they won't be using their core and they'll be sagging to go through those push-ups. So all those ways I just showed you are going to be detrimental long-term to your joints as you're putting the shoulder in usually awkward positions, your elbows, even your wrist, as well as they're not taking the muscle through that full range of motion, so you're not engaging all the parts of that muscle that should be working through the movement. So all these years or reps that you've been putting in doing push-ups aren't going to get you any further because your chest or those muscles have never been down here before, or at least the times they do, it's so seldom they're not getting enough stimulus to get better. So if you want to take your push-ups from those half push-ups into full push-ups and actually see some progress here, you're going to need to practice that full range of motion. So number one, let's establish what that push-up should look like. From here, your chest needs to be down between or even in front of your palms. So notice the angle at my elbow and my shoulders here, where my chest and my nipples are basically coming down in between my hands as I'm going through that push-up. Okay, so I get a nice square elbow and I'm able to press back up. That's going to help me really engage my triceps and again keep that shoulder in a good neutral stable position where it can stay back in the center of the socket and I'm not going to roll forward on it, stretching out the rotator cuff muscles. The next thing you want to consider is engaging your core here. So if our push-ups are still going down in a good position, but I'm letting my butt sag, my hips, and I'm not keeping that together, again, I'm changing the muscles that I'm incorporating. There's a reason why people do that. It's because it makes the push-up easier, and we don't want the push-up to be easier per se if we're practicing this, and we can practice this position. We want to put those muscles under stress in the right position. So you need to engage your glutes some, tighten your abs. You should be ready for somebody to come around and hit you in the stomach so your core is tight, and that's not going to affect you if it's engaged. So again, we can go through those push-ups, maintaining our core position and keeping our head neutral. Another mistake that was taught, a long time ago is that we should be looking up. Well, that's going to put undue stress on the back of my neck and also change how the length of the muscles in your shoulders and probably give you a neck ache if you're going to practice like that too often. So that's the full push-up and where you should be. If you're not capable of doing that right now, in order to work up to that so you can be, you should be modifying your position. So your chest still needs to be coming down in front of the palms of your hands, but we can do it from our knees. So from our knees, what's important here is that we're not coming here, we're not bent at the waist doing these push-ups, because that's going to force me to overextend my lumbar and my spine. I want to engage my core and my glutes just as I would if I was in that full push-up position, and come down and up, keeping that straight line between my shoulders, hips, and knees. So if I can go a little bit further than that to make these push-ups harder, the next step up, I can start practicing lowering myself down, putting my knees down, pressing back up, bringing the knees up, and starting again to make that just one notch harder. Another modification if you're doing a push-up in your workout and it requires a lot of push-ups at one time would be making the push-up on a higher plane. So let me show you a couple demonstrations of that. You can use something set up here if you're in the gym, or if you're at home, you can use different levels of a chair, a couch, maybe a countertop. So this would be the equivalent to the bottom of a chair or so, and we can do our push-ups here, which are going to be much easier than doing them off the floor. And notice I'm still putting my chest, so the bottom of my chest, my sternum, is making its way across the bar with every push-up. Making sure I'm not aiming towards my face with the bar is exactly where we want our core and our arm position to be at. So if I want to make that even easier, that's still a little too hard for me. If I get up on a higher surface, the push-up is going to be easier, and I might have to adjust my feet to get in a little closer so I can keep a good position while I'm practicing that exercise. And another modification I really like is using a band. You can use this band, push it down, walk out. It's going to support my hips, so it's going to take weight off of my arms. And I can get down and practice that full push-up position that I eventually want to be doing on my own with the band around my hips. So, to recap, full range of motion is extremely important so you engage all the fibers in the muscle tissue that you're focusing on. Same goes with squats. If you're only going to be squatting to here, don't expect yourself to be able to squat any lower than that, any better, even after doing thousands of squats at that half position. It's going to happen with your push-ups. It's going to happen with any exercise you're doing for just part way. So practice that full range of motion. Use modifications as needed. The position and the technique are far more important than you doing thousands of reps incorrectly or just partially. Okay? That's the main point right there. Thanks for checking us out. Corefit Inc. for more videos on workouts and other demonstrations.